9,000 years ago, while early humans in many parts of the world were still mastering basic survival, people in Mehrgarh were practicing dentistry. Archaeologists examining ancient jaws found clear physical evidence of fine stone drills used to treat and modify human teeth. That early brilliance evolved into the Indus Valley civilization. Cities like Mohenjo-Daro were built on a highly organized grid system, utilizing standard-sized baked bricks to construct massive walls and roads that intersected at perfect 90-degree angles. They engineered complex water systems, connecting every house to a covered main drain, and waterproofed their public baths to prevent leaks. Over the centuries, this foundation of civic engineering and knowledge translated into staggering material wealth. During the era when India was known as the Golden Bird, precious stones like diamonds, emeralds, and pearls were sold in sacks in open street markets, the same way we buy wheat or rice today. But accumulating that much visible wealth comes with a risk. The sheer density of resources, combined with periods of fractured internal leadership, made the subcontinent a primary objective for foreign empires expanding their territories. As the first waves of invaders arrived, they focused their efforts on three specific targets: the accumulated gold, the centers of scientific knowledge, and the martial spirit that defended them. The assault on knowledge targeted centuries of discovery. By the time of the Gupta Empire, the mathematician Aryabhata had already calculated that the Earth is round and rotates on its axis, and he had introduced the concept of zero, the mathematical backbone of modern computing. Physical evidence of their advanced metallurgy still stands in Delhi. The iron pillar has been out in the open for over 1,600 years, enduring monsoon rains and scorching heat, yet it has not gathered a single speck of rust. Modern science is still attempting to replicate this level of metal purification. This era of discovery peaked with Nalanda University. It was a global center for medicine and astronomy, drawing thousands of international scholars to study across its sprawling campus and multi-story brick libraries. In 1193, an invading general named Bakhtiar Khilji fell severely ill. When his own doctors failed, an Ayurvedic master from Nalanda cured him. Driven by jealousy over this superior medical knowledge, Khilji ordered his army to burn the entire university to the ground. The main library contained so many ancient manuscripts that the massive structure burned continuously for 3 entire months. Thousands of years of documented research in mathematics, astronomy, and medicine were reduced to smoke. Khilji's order to burn the library was an attempt to eliminate a system of knowledge he could not control. By destroying the books, he effectively severed the transmission of centuries of research to future generations. The physical books were lost, but the underlying capacity to question, engineer, and rebuild was deeply ingrained in the culture, surviving the fire. The next target was material wealth. By the Mughal era, rulers focused heavily on luxury, culminating in the construction of the Peacock Throne, a golden seat of power with the Koh-i-Noor diamond embedded at its center. As the empire's leadership weakened, the Persian ruler Nadir Shah marched into Delhi, emptied the treasury, and seized both the Peacock Throne and the Koh-i-Noor, leaving the capital bankrupt. Next came a corporate form of extraction. The British East India Company initially arrived as traders, but after the Battle of Plassey in 1757, they shifted to a strategy of political manipulation, using internal conflicts to take total control over Indian territories. They targeted Bengal, the richest province in the country. The company extracted taxes so aggressively that the region fell into famine, while enormous stores of grain and gold were loaded directly onto ships bound for London. To ensure total economic dominance, they suppressed local industries. The British targeted the muslin weavers, severing the thumbs of master artisans so they could no longer operate their looms, forcing the population to buy imported cloth manufactured in England. This was the systematic dismantling of a manufacturing hub. They took the raw wealth, destroyed the means of production, and created a captive market. With the wealth drained and the libraries burned, the survival of the civilization rested on the martial spirit and psychological defiance of its people. Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj recognized that the coastline was an open door for European colonizers. To protect his borders, he knew he had to weaponize the ocean. He mobilized local workers to execute a feat of naval engineering, transporting massive boulders out into the water to construct heavily fortified stone bases in the middle of the waves, creating a navy that intercepted foreign warships. This same refusal to yield surfaced in the northwest frontier. In 1897, at a tiny communication post called Saragarhi, 21 Sikh soldiers were surrounded by an alliance of 10,000 Afghan tribesmen. Offered safe passage if they surrendered, the trapped soldiers faced mathematical certainty. They would surely die without backup. Yet Havildar Ishar Singh and his 20 men chose to stand their ground, holding off the massive army for over 6 hours in a final stand. They fought to buy time for the neighboring forts and to protect the honor of their regiment. In these moments of defiance, the people chose death over surrender, keeping a cultural identity alive that no amount of plunder could touch. The scars of history are still visible. The Koh-i-Noor diamond remains set in the British Crown, resting thousands of miles away from the soil where it was mined. Foreign empires successfully extracted tons of gold and reduced ancient universities to ashes. But they failed to extract the drive for discovery that had been building since the days of Mehrgar. That foundation is why a modern resurgence is possible. The same scientific curiosity that drove Aryabhata to track the stars recently guided the Chandrayaan mission straight to the south pole of the moon. The gold in the thrones and the diamonds in the crowns could be taken, but the capacity to rebuild from the ashes, to research, to engineer, and to return to the stars is what actually defines the survival of this civilization.